Today I'm going to talk about how I got into buying and selling all of these lovely watches and offer advice to those who want to get into the watch industry.
Please tell us, what was your first luxury watch?
So the first watch I ever had was a Rolex, Datejust, black dial, black diamond dial, fluted bezel on a bimetal strap. I bought it from Heathrow Airport.
Okay, nice. Do you remember how much you paid?
To be honest, I can't remember. I think it would have been about £7,500 to £8,000 at the time, and I was very happy.
Yeah, I can imagine. That's a lovely watch. So when did you sell it and how much did you sell it for?
I sold that watch about 6 years later for about £10,000.
Okay, that's a good deal. So how did you start getting into buying and selling watches? What was the first, I guess, was that your first experience?
That wasn't my first experience, no, because I was buying and selling watches after that in one of my stores that I was working in at the time. It's like a pawnbroker style store. So we do like buyback. We don't do any interest-based loans. And I used to get a lot of watches in. So I used to appraise them. I used to check them. I used to have authenticators come in at the time. This was a long time ago. I'm still in touch with them today. And yeah, we used to buy and sell a lot of nice Rolexes at the time.
Was it mainly Rolexes when you first started trading?
So when I first started, it was Rolexes as well as Omega, Cartier. Just thinking of the brands, it's coming all over. Yeah, I think it's Omega, Cartier, and Rolex mainly.
And what models of Rolex, for example, were you trading?
So it was mainly like Datejust, Oyster Perpetual. It was more the lower end watches. So it was watches that were under like £10,000 to £12,000.
And what sort of margins would you expect on Rolexes in that range?
So it's about 10%. So it's about 10%, and I was happy with that because the turnaround was a lot faster.
For Cartier and Omega, was it also 10% return?
So with Cartier, it was around 20 to 25% because it was I considered it a harder sell, and with Omega, it was about 20%, same.
What Cartier models were you selling?
So it was like the Balloon Bleu, it was the Santos, it was the Tank, it was like the popular Cartier models.
Okay, and how long does it take you from those sort of Datejust entry-level watches to maybe the slightly higher end watches in terms of trading? How long did it take you?
So it took me about 2 to 3 years before really getting into watches and understanding movements, bezels, strap, boxes, authentic cards, and really going through the due diligence because I was really studying. And then I went on to like do the Rolex courses and movement courses, which really helped a lot. So I would say about 3 to 4 years of knowledge before really getting into buying like day dates, big Pateks, and other big pieces that I moved on to.
So, Adam, what is the most expensive watch you've sold?
So I sold the RM 0311, which is the Le Mans version. It's a beautiful watch. I wish I kept it. It was £500,000.
So, what were the margins on a piece like that?
It's about 10%. So you're looking at about £50,000.
So, we can see some of the pieces you have in stock today in front of you. Could you take us through them one by one?
Of course, yeah. So we've got this lovely Submariner, full yellow gold with a blue dial, a very nice piece. This is priced at, I think, £18,500. It's a very, very, very good price on that particular piece there. You've got the bimetal version, they call it the bluesy. And yeah, this is £13,500. We've had a lot of interest in these two the last couple of days, so I'm hoping they'll sell quite soon. You've got a Sky Dweller, which is a custom aftermarket set. We don't really specialize in aftermarket sets, but this particular client did bring like 5 or 6 watches, so we thought we'd take this on consignment and see if we get this sold for him. It's had some good work done. He has spent a lot of money on it. It's not something that I am fond of, but somebody out there is probably fond of that.
So on the aftermarket one, what do you think of people putting diamonds on their watches?
It's okay. As in, there's nothing wrong with it. As in, if you're going to buy a watch, not everyone buys a watch to have an investment piece. So, you know, if you spend £10,000 and you sell it in 10 years and you sell it for £12,000, yeah, that's not what everyone's looking for. Some people just want to buy a watch and enjoy the watch and not think about selling a watch. So even like myself, I might buy a piece and not worry about me selling it, and I'll do what I want to it. Like a car, you know, you could put a kit on a car, it's worth less, but it's what I'm enjoying. So I might spend 50,000 extra on putting a kit on a car that somebody got, oh wow, now it's 50,000 less, but that's, to me, it looks a lot nicer. So that's, I feel it's the same with the watches. You know, if it's something that is not an investment, then I'll say, great, do what you want to your watch. You know, it doesn't matter because you're going to enjoy it. And that's what matters, enjoyment.
What we have next seems to be a Breitling, which is quite interesting. Can you tell us about that?
So this particular one here is a Breitling Bentley limited edition, limited to only 500 pieces. So it's a great piece to have. If you're after one of these, then I think we're the only people in the world with one at the moment.
Are the margins on Breitling strong?
So they're not bad. So across board, mostly watches are about between 5 and 15% on the bigger brands, or max up to about 10-12% on the bigger brands. And on the smaller brands, it could be a lot more, between 15 and 30%, but they take a lot longer to sell.
So if you had to pick a single brand just for pure profit in terms of trading, which one would it be?
So I'll probably stick to the Richard Mille and Pateks, just because it's the bigger price point, so the margins are a lot bigger. Because if you're working on a £500,000 watch on a 10% margin, it's £50,000 as opposed to a Rolex, which is £10,000, and the margin is then £1,000.
Okay, and the last watch?
So the last watch we have here today is this AP Restivo, limited edition to 22 pieces in the world. It's a beautiful piece with a leather strap, rose gold, in immaculate condition. I think I saw one other for sale in the world that sold before I bought this, and then I bought this one. And if you have a look online, it's the only one available at this moment in time, unless someone else has put one up in the last week or two. There's only 22 pieces. Great watch, one of my favorites. I have worn this a few times, just because I wanted to keep it, but because I no longer wear rose gold, or gold is something that we're now selling.
Here at Love Luxury, what percentage would you say is bags v watches when it comes to sales?
So bags v watches, I think we're on about 50-50%. We just have a lot more bags, because bags take up a lot more space. With watches, it's a quicker turnaround time. So we've been getting a lot more watches in. We're selling a lot of watches here. We haven't promoted it as much, but we are going to start promoting it. Maria deals with watches here for Love Luxury, and she has so much work to do. So the amount of watch inquiries we get a day, we got another call a minute ago with a watch. We got two in this. We sold two this morning. We had another one come in the post this morning.
So if you had to just pick one, watches or bags, just for profit and business, which one would you choose?
So I'll probably stick to watches because I find the margins are a lot bigger on the higher end watches, and a quicker turnaround. Because with watches, you can liquid watches very quickly. The problem with bags is it takes quite some time to sell some of the bags sometimes. And you just can't liquid bags. So if you've got 1,000 watches or 1,000 bags, I find it a lot easier to liquid 1,000 watches within 24 to 48 hours, as opposed to 1,000 bags. I'll probably get rid of 50.
If someone watching this wants to start trading watches, they have no experience, they've never done it, what advice do you give?
I would say start small, start with lower end watches, start with watches that are not that hard to sell, like stick to OPs, date justs, explorers, submariner date, non-date. Probably newer models, because they're a lot easier to liquid if you need the money back in the pot very quickly, and just take your time.
What sort of budget does someone need to start trading watches?
So with trading, you don't really need a budget. You just need a clientele to buy, and then if it's £5,000 watch, you might need £5,000 to invest in it. But make sure you don't buy the watch and the person doesn't buy it off you after, because you get stuck with a watch, or you got to lick it back in again. So make sure you got a good relationship with the sellers.
And lastly, Adam, the watch on your wrist, can you tell us a bit about it?
So this is an Audemars Piguet watch. It's full yellow gold. They call it the brick, and the reason being because it's so heavy. It nearly weighs, nearly approximately 1 pound of gold, which is incredible for a watch. And to be honest with you, I think I'm growing some biceps on my left arm right now just by wearing this watch. Beautiful watch. I don't wear gold, just wear it for the video. But if you're interested in this watch, it is for sale here at Love Luxury. So the market price is around £80,000, and we have it priced at £75,000. So it's £5,000 under the market price. Our margins are a lot smaller, but it's something that will definitely be a good investment. This piece here is something that I would buy if I was to wear gold.
I've noticed a lot of your watches are under market price. Why do you do that? Surely you'd want to maximize profits.
So yeah, the word maximize to me sometimes means holding the watches a lot longer. So when we're buying at the right price and selling at the right price. So customers get a great deal here at Love Luxury, and the seller also gets a great deal at the same time. So with us, it's about turnaround of stock, meeting new people, and making sure that we're turning the stock around, as opposed to just sitting on stock. Thank you so much for watching my watch content. If you're interested in knowing more about watches, please leave comments below. And if you want to know anything about our watches that we have for sale, you can contact Maria and get a deal done with us. And if you want any more watch content, please do let us know, because I'll be happy to give you as much knowledge as I can in the watch business. Guys, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you next week.